What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Chaos. My name is Brad. The stock market is crazy and chaotic, and I made it my mission to help you guys own it. It has been a weird day in the markets today. S&P 500 is down 0.1%. The Dow is down 147 points, or good for being down 0.5%. NASDAQ is flat, and that was red most of the day, but started to turn green, I would say, probably around lunchtime. And so that's interesting to see. We're also looking at the Russell 2000. Small caps are on fire too. They're up 0.5%. Crude oil is back down below $80 a barrel, sitting at 79.16. That's where it closed at today. And then we got Bitcoin that is taking it on chin, back down below 30,000 after this whole Gary Gensler BS. If you guys want to talk about the Gary Gensler BS, then leave me a comment in the chat because I will bring it to the table tomorrow. But that guy's a POS. And needs to be fired. That's all I'll say about it. We won't talk. We won't get into crypto too much today. Actually, that's the extent of it. That's all the further we'll go with it. But man, what a POS. There's something happening today. Anybody know? Some special earnings, I guess, that's taking place. I don't know. IBM, I think, is going to be reporting earnings. It's Tesla day, everybody. We got Tesla earnings on the docket. Before we get into any of the details and what expectations I might have for Tesla, let me get my starting five out of the way. We got Ralph Vandenhoek, Kevin Hawthorne, David Neiman, Housekeeping, and Lindo Van. You guys are my starting five. If you missed the starting five, then you have not subscribed or hit that notification bell, and you definitely didn't show up early. So make sure you're doing all of those things. You might get shouted out in the next stream. I'm super pumped for these earnings today. We do have other ones that are going to be reporting today as well, guys. As I'd mentioned, we got IBM, Alcoa, Las Vegas Sands. I'm very interested in Las Vegas Sands, and I know that Tesla's going to take up the majority of the stream, and that's fair. But Las Vegas Sands, like, I want to see what the consumer is spending money on. And I think my hunch is, and we talked about this a little briefly yesterday, about the consumer not spending money on stuff anymore, and they're spending it more on services. And are they going out for entertainment? We're seeing, obviously, the airlines are pretty optimistic. So people are still out there traveling. They're just being more selective with their money, which is interesting. So that's what I want to see out of Las Vegas Sands. That's why I'm kind of excited to see those earnings today, even though I know that Tesla just drowns out everything. I am actually pumped for that. So we'll go over all of that. We're going to react to all of those earnings, but let's go ahead and bring up the Tesla chart and take a look at it. So these are Don's charts, the zones that he's made. It's a bit messy because he has expected moves. That's what these lines are. And then, of course, he's got this nice little wedge drawn, which looks pretty damn good, if I might say. However, it is down below out of this zone. So that's going to be interesting to watch. We'll take a look at the 5-minute chart and let's scrunch this up. Whoop. You can see that it's starting to sell off as we get closer to the close, which I find a bit intriguing. It could be a bullish sign. Sometimes we see stocks just run right into the close, and it usually ends up meaning that it's going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news type of event. We're seeing this sell off right now. And honestly, all of the EV stocks have been feeling it today, right? Just take your pick. Your favorite EV stock is getting crushed today. Why? Because Tesla cut their prices yet again. Elon doesn't want to call it a price war, but it sure is looking like one. For the first time ever, you can land yourself a Model 3 for $39,990, below $40,000 mark. This is, I believe, the 6th time in the last year that Tesla has reduced the prices of their vehicles. The Model Y was also reduced, I believe, to $45 and some change, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check that. I know, yes, $46,990. Sorry. So you can get the Model Y for $46,990. You get a Model 3 for under $40K. First time ever that's happened. So there's been a lot of concern, a lot of back and forth about this. And I'll go back to the chart here in just a minute. But here we go. But the thing that I find interesting about Tesla right now is that it is, hold on, sorry. How unprepared can Brad be? There you go. So the interesting part to me is that there's two camps. One of them is Tesla's going to be in trouble because they're shrinking their margins. If you guys recall, even just 2 years ago, maybe it was 2.5, Tesla was damn near 50% gross profit margin, which was insane. It might be 3 years ago, but either way, it was not that long ago that Tesla was sitting at 50% profit margin. Now they're sitting at 25.6%. Now listen, you compare that to their counterparts, and it's still far above what that is. However, you could make the argument that now that Tesla is shrinking their profit margins, perhaps the PE or the forward PE, the profit earnings deserves to be lower because they're not as profitable as they were. However, the other side to that argument is, but demand is so strong that they can afford to lower their prices and sell enough vehicles to make up for the losses in profit that they are incurring, which is very much in the camp that I'm in. The Model Y is selling like crazy. And so I think that that's going to be something that gets addressed in this earnings report. Take a look at the chart here. It's now trading down 2%. We got about 7 minutes into the close. And so give me your guys' thoughts on this. So obviously we'll get into the earnings numbers and what the expectations are, but this news just came out today. So I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on why, is it a smart move for Tesla to lower their prices and continue to lower their prices? One of the big reasons why that they gave was because of the tax credits and, being eligible for tax credits at certain price points, what have you, blah, 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 blah. Lots of people out there making accusations that this is a price war now, that Tesla is just squeezing the market and it's absolutely genius and yada, yada, yada. Tesla and even Elon has come out and said, no, it's just a business decision. I don't know. I don't know what to make of. I don't think it's just a business decision. I think that they are trying to squeeze the market a little bit. And I think the demand was strong enough to where they didn't need to lower prices 6 times this year, but it would make sense if it was solely based off of those tax credits as well. So very interesting to see these developments just before earnings today. And speaking of earnings, estimated earnings per share for Tesla is 85 cents, $23.36 billion in revenue, 4 upward revisions to 12 down, according to Seeking Alpha. Does Tesla beat earnings today? I put it in the poll just before we went live. Said, what does it do after the bell? 40% of you say they smash earnings and guidance. The stock goes up. And so that's 40% of you so far. 50 of you guys have already voted. Misses and stock sinks is 32%. So that's a pretty close. That's interesting. Stock stays flat and nothing happens. It's 25% of you, and 2% of you are buying no matter what. And you really don't care what the stock does right now. So that's a really interesting split. I'm a bit surprised. I thought it was going to swing one way or the other. I thought perhaps maybe there was going to be a lot of bullish or bearish people out there with Tesla. Obviously, the fanboys always love to show up during earnings season. But year to date, this stock is up 67%. And it's not even at the high of its year to date performance. We can here's your year to date performance on Tesla, and you can see, it started the year out at 107. It's about ready to close the day today at around 180. So absolutely insane move. Insane move. So there is, this is again your daily chart on Tesla. Let's move it to the 5 so you guys can see it in real time. So pretty strong selling here going into the end of the day. Real quick, I do want to cover some other earnings that are going to be reporting here as we got about 3 minutes before the close. And honestly, I think I got time on my side only because Tesla doesn't usually report as soon as the bell rings. So let's go into some of the other ones that are reporting today. IBM is reporting earnings today, and they're expected to come in at $1.24, $14.33 billion in revenue. No upward revisions for IBM. I think that is a big mistake. I like IBM a lot. Love them, in fact. Forward PE on this is 13 times next year's earnings. They're growing at 5.5% year over year. And that's revenue growth year over year, by the way. And that is incredible for a company that's been around as long as IBM has been. That growth is actually stronger than Apple's, believe it or not. And I know that Apple's a much bigger company, but at one point in time, IBM used to be an absolute giant, pre-dot-com bubble, and they have survived all of that. I love the company. I think that they're going to do well. 54% gross profit margin for IBM still to this day. That is crazy. Alcoa has earnings today as well. Oops. Here's your chart on Alcoa. It's a 5-minute chart there. It's down 2.25% right now. And checking out Alcoa's earnings expectations, $0 a share, $2.76 billion in revenue, though. And the street's really mixed on this. 2 upper revisions, 5 down. And then growth here is at 2.5%. Profitability is at 18%. It's been really tough for some of the materials out there over the last year and a half. This is kind of expensive still. I would be nervous about Alcoa going into today as well. And then, of course, Las Vegas Sands, which I had mentioned that I'm actually kind of pumped about. The gambling stocks are falling back in favor. Over the last 3.5 months, year to date, Las Vegas Sands is up 20%. DraftKings is up year to date 93%. Isn't that crazy? Even Penn is up right now. So this is what I'm saying. I think that actually, no, I stand corrected. Penn is flat on the year, which is kind of a joke because DraftKings is still not making money. I don't know why people don't like Penn, but Penn actually is profitable, and they're going to be profitable in the sports betting side of things before everyone else. I don't know why people don't like Penn. I really don't. I love it. I love Barstool. I love everything they got going on. They make a shit ton of money. The business model works. I don't get it. DraftKings, there's no end in sight for them as far as profitability is concerned, and yet the stock's up 100%. Weird. Nevertheless, Las Vegas Sands, their estimated earnings per share is, let's see, 20 cents, $1.83 billion in revenue. Lots of upward revisions on this one, 4-1. And profitability here is great, 63% profitability. Growth is expected to come in better than last year. They actually did not grow at all last year as far as revenue was concerned. So forward revenue growth is expected to be around 40%. So we'll see what they have to say for these earnings. Now, it is expensive. Las Vegas Sands is trading around 40 times next year's earnings. So they're going to have to deliver on those expectations and guidance as far as that's concerned. But I'm kind of pumped for that. I know that, listen, Tesla's the... oh, you only see my face. Really? Can't see the charts? Damn, I went through that whole spiel. What the hell? What's going on? All right. I hear you guys. Let's fix this. That is so dumb. There we go. I swear. Sometimes software just it does not agree with me. My bad, guys. We're good. Okay. Hey, hit that like button because Brad fixed it. Show the pen one. Oh, yeah. All right. We're actually, Las Vegas Sands is starting to move right now. We're officially closed. The market's officially closed. You guys are the best. I love you guys so much. I appreciate you just keep just chatting. Everybody just came in and was just like hoping that I change something sometime soon. I really do appreciate that. You guys are the best. All right, so let's go check out IBM, see the movement on that. IBM, no movement here, but it looks like it had some decent buying going into close. Alcoa, no movement there. What is Tesla up to? So Tesla sold off towards the end of the day, down over 2%. Starting to move up a little bit, but not much. Not much here. Darren Anderson said, I hit the like button because I had to hit something. Yeah, if you got to hit something out of frustration over the last, 5 minutes, hit that like button. I would appreciate it. Guys, if you are liking the stream so far, despite some of the technical issues I just had, please make sure that you do that. Hit that like button if you want to show support. I certainly would appreciate it. Also, there's links down in the description to check out my Patreon. I have a exclusive content over there called Stock Watch Sunday. I just kind of give a watch list of things to watch and what I think might happen. If you guys are interested in that, go check that out. Also, you can get access to Don's charts here. These are his custom charts that he makes. This is something that interests you, which I think, honestly, they are really good. You look at these daily and weekly charts in particular, and they are extremely accurate. So if you want access to that, starts at $5. It really isn't that bad. So if you guys want to go check it out, help support the channel, help support us to continue making content, I would appreciate you. Not that I don't already, because you're just here watching me. You're here and allowing me to be a part of your afternoon. And for that, I thank you. Let's take the words right out of Tosh Point Oh's mouth. Anybody get that reference? Greg, I see you out there, Greg. Man, has it been forever and a day since you've been here? Oh my God, that is Greg in the chat. Man, I miss you. Nick Croy says, I always come here for earnings. I mean, that's what the channel does. You know, that's what we've been doing over the last couple of years, you know. Man, it's good to see you back, Greg. Good to see you back, my man. Tesla is looking like it's moving down now around 1 1/3%. This blue line here was that wedge that Don had drawn. And so far, it's holding above that. Just looks like some low volume BS right now. So let's go check back into LVS, Las Vegas Sands. That is up 1%. Let's see what some of those, see if any of those numbers are out. No numbers yet on Las Vegas Sands. IBM. Nope, no movement there either. Alcoa. Everybody's taking their time with these releases. Watch, they're going to do it all at the same time. And I'm going to be running around like a chicken with my head cut off. Tesla is still just chilling here. It's down around 0.75%, but still low volume BS, not really anything going on. I just double checked. There are no numbers out just yet. So as soon as there are, I will be happy to share them with you guys. Oh, literally 30 seconds ago, they just came out. Okay, here we go. So Tesla's Q1 revenue came in at 23, this is according to Zero Hedge, $23.33 billion. Estimate was 23.35. So slight miss on revenue. Tesla's Q1 adjusted earnings per share, 85 cents versus the 86 cents that was expected. So a miss on that. They expect to remain ahead of their 50% year-over-year growth or on production. So they're maintaining that, even though they missed on revenue and on earnings per share, according to the street. So a miss by Tesla. The stock's down 1.5% right now. This is early for Tesla to release their numbers. That's according to Zero Hedge. So I'm going to take his word at it. Usually I try to cross-reference that, but he's credible. Yeah, that's what it is. So some are reporting 85 cents versus 85 cents that was expected. Some are reporting that. So some are reporting a slight miss. Some are reporting in line. So at the very best, Tesla came in line with earnings expectations. And now you can see it continue to sell off. I think somebody was waiting for Tesla to move down, I think. What do you guys think? So for those of you who are long on Tesla, is this an opportunity for you? Let me know in the comments as I continue to dig up some more details on these Tesla earnings. Again, if you guys are just tuning in, got about 233 of you watching so far. Appreciate you allowing me to be part of your afternoon. Tesla's looking here at actual earnings per share of 85 cents. The expectation, according to Seeking Alpha, was 85 cents. So they basically came in line. Some Some were expecting 86. $23.36 billion in revenue was expected according to Seeking Alpha, and it's at 23.3. Some other sources are claiming that 23.21 was the expectation, and so 23.3 was the actual. That's multiple reports now, so I'm going to go with a slight beat on revenue, according to most outlets. Again, they expect to remain ahead of their production. They still see production of 1.80 million vehicles. The estimate was 1.84 as well. Cybertruck is on track to begin production later this year. Tell me if you've heard that before. Tell me where you've heard that before. Hey guys, the Cybertruck's coming, we promise. Sure it is. I'll believe it when I see it. You know, that was like with the semi-trucks too. And now they're finally out. I knew that they were coming. It was just when. When were they going to show up? And that's kind of like with the Cybertruck as well. It's like, you told us last year that it was going to be last year, right? So is the Cybertruck getting here this year or what? Give us some confirmation. Mike Hudson says he's waiting for $110 on Tesla before he considers buying more. Damn. It's at 178.25 here after hours. It closed the day at 180, and Mike Hudson's waiting for a 110. That's quite a drop. So 110 would take us all the way down, pretty much close to the bottom that we saw back in December on Tesla. So that's what Mike Hudson and maybe some other people as well are waiting for. They're waiting for the ball to drop. I'm not saying that you're crazy, Mike. I'm not saying you're crazy at all. I actually think there could be some truth to this for some of the reasons that I explained to you before these earnings came out. Let's go back to the 5-minute real quick. And you can see it's still just kind of chilling. And honestly, the stock performance isn't bad, all things considered. Could it be that everybody was kind of expecting this already? Possibly. I don't think that there's too many people that were shocked by these numbers. So for those of you who voted in the poll that the stock's going to stay flat and nothing happens, looks like you might have been dead on in this. Obviously, it's early. We're only about 10 minutes into the close, but so far you guys are the ones that are right. 133 votes on. That's a hell of engagement on the poll today. Nima Dog says Tesla's getting to 120 soon. All right. So somebody mentioned IBM is tanking. Let's take a look. Well, no, it's not. Well, it looks like it was initially, but it's up 1.6%. Here's your IBM. We'll get back to Tesla in just a minute, but there are other earnings that I want to cover today. IBM is certainly an important one, and that stock has started to move. They came in Q1 revenue at $14.25 billion. The estimate was at 14.33, so that is a miss. Software revenue came in at 5.92 billion. They beat that expectation by 5.76 on their software side. Free cash flow of 1.34 billion. 2.18 was expected. The fuck? Is that real? Is that free cash flow number that off? They came in with earnings per share of $1.36 compared to $1.26. The stock's still going up, but I don't like those free cash flow numbers if that's legit. That seems to be legit. I've cross-referenced now. That is a legit number. $1.34 billion in free cash flow. 2.18 was expected. What happened there? Here's why the stock could be moving up. They see fiscal year constant currency revenue growth of 3 to 5% still this year. That's with everybody crying recession, right? So they beat earnings per share, slight miss on revenue. I'm not digging that free cash flow. For a company that is as old as IBM and, no longer really considered a growth company, and it's more geared towards value tech, that free cash flow number is I don't want to say scary, but it's far below expectations. And I'm not quite sure I'm digging that, but Jorge says only 133 votes, but only 62 likes. That's sus. Yeah. What's up with that? Hit that thumbs up. I'd appreciate it if you guys did that. Nicroy was calling for Tesla to drop. Noise. IBM has a nice dividend too. Yeah, they do have a really good dividend. Dividend yield on this one, the payout ratio is 72%. Woo. Annual payout $6 a share, $6.60. The dividend yield there is 5.17%. And they are a dividend aristocrat. No, I'm sorry. They're 2 years away from being classified as a dividend aristocrat. They've raised their dividend for the last 23 years straight. So they're 2 years away. The aristocrats, 25 years or more. Johnson & Johnson's a good example of that. All right, let's check out Las Vegas Sands, see if there's any movement on that. That is up 3.5%. Interesting. This is what I was hoping for. I'm not in Las Vegas Sands, but like this is something that I wanted to just see. Like I was hopeful that this industry was starting to turn around because the consumer, this tells me the consumer is still pretty strong. That it's not that they're not spending money. They're just not spending money in the areas that they used to, you know, during the pandemic when they needed material things. Now that they're still going out and doing stuff, spending money on services, and traveling still. Las Vegas Sands came in at 28 cents per share versus the 20 cents that was expected, 2.12 billion versus the 1.82 that was expected there. They crushed revenue by $400 million. $300 million. So pretty good numbers on the quarter they reported. I'd imagine their guidance is good too. I'm trying to find those guidance numbers, but I'm not seeing them just yet. But they did beat pretty good on expectations for the quarter that they're reporting on. Let's see what I can find here on guidance for Las Vegas Sands. As of it's balance sheet stuff, capital expenditures, blah, 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 blah. Give me the guidance. Here we go. Nope, still don't have it. Where is this? There's not one report that is ever the same. You have to like decipher all this shit. Unrestricted cash balances as of March 31st were $6.53 billion. That's damn good. That's really good. I like that. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Net income from continuing operations in the first quarter of 23 was 145 compared to net loss of 478 in the first quarter of 22. Not what I was looking for. Give me the guidance. What are we looking for the rest of the year? It must be good. It must be good. Checking back in with Tesla. I'll find those numbers. Don't you worry. Tesla is now still selling off as I would expect it to at this point. I mean, that movement at the beginning seemed a bit light. So huge move down now on Tesla. It's down, well, it's huge for other stocks. It's actually not huge for Tesla. We see 4% moves on Tesla all the time. Regulatory credits, 521 million versus 369. That was expected. Those are good numbers. Cash from operations, 2.51 billion versus the 5.85. Oof, that's low. Free cash flow, 441 million. That's also low for Tesla. They made no changes to Bitcoin holdings in the first quarter. Still hanging on to that Bitcoin. When did they buy? What was their average price on Bitcoin, by the way? Was it in the 40s? I think they bought it pretty high. If you guys are just tuning in, this is an interesting number. Gross margins. Remember we talked about this at the beginning of the show. I talked to you about gross margin shrinking. They were at 25% as of last quarter. 25% gross profit margins as of the last earnings report. And now they are down to 19.3%. This has a lot to do with the lowering of the cost of their vehicles. I just got done telling you that the Model 3 is now below $40,000. That's actually lower than the street expected. So the street was already expecting these gross margins to come down. They were only expecting them to come down to 21%. Tesla's coming in and saying it's at 19%. Now, that might not sound like a lot to you, but it is a lot when we're talking about billions of dollars. They see full year production at 1.8 million vehicles versus a 1.84 that was expected on guidance. So, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this quarter. Can I revote, says Mixed Mist. I don't think you can, actually. Hit that thumbs up, guys, if you are liking the stream so far. I certainly would appreciate it. One stock that I haven't covered yet is Alcoa. Not a whole lot of movement, but it looks like something happened there with Alcoa. They generated revenue of $2.7 billion. The expectation for them on earnings was 2.76. What did I just say they came in at? 2.7. So a slight miss on revenue for Alcoa. Net loss attributed to Alcoa Corporation's $231 million or $1.30 per share. They were expecting to come in at $0. So it looks like they came in at a loss. If I'm reading that right. Net loss, yeah. Oh, net adjusted loss was $41 million or 23 cents per share. Yeah. 23 cents. So interesting numbers there for Alcoa. Check back in with Tesla. I know that's what everybody's here for, but I got to check in on some of the other stuff too. Daniel Camarena is live from the FedEx warehouse. What's up, my man? Slow for us. Hours being cut company-wide, and they are merging stations here in L.A. Damn. That makes sense budget-wise. Express going to suffer with workers quitting. That's interesting stuff, Daniel Camarena. Thanks for sharing that, my man. Sell the news, buy the rumor, indeed. Was it, though? I mean, this doesn't look like a buy the rumor type of price action here. This is your daily chart. This is today's action. It actually, closed down today 2%. I don't know about that. I don't know about buying the rumor, sell the news. Usually it's like we're going to see some sort of run up into the close and then the numbers come out and everything sells off. But in fact, everything, the last hour, 30 minutes of the day for Tesla, we saw a pretty decent sell off. So buy the rumor, sell the news, very cliche. We see a lot of that all the time. I don't think that applies here. Tesla, 115 in 90 days. Book it, Dano, says Michael White. You're crazy. Ain't going to be 115 in 90 days. I feel like we need a wager on that. Put your money where your mouth is type of deal. Donna Lindsay, yeah, Alcoa earnings were out. I did cover them literally just like 5 minutes ago, so you don't have to go back too far. But I did cover them. They beat earnings per share. They slightly missed on revenue. Your stock right now is just slightly in the red. Checking back in with IBM, see where we're at. And that stock is still moving up. It's up now 2.25. Some mixed earnings on Tesla. And that is your result here. I'm not confident here. I mean, they reiterated. So, again, Tesla reiterated that they're going to still be in line with their production numbers that they forecast at the beginning of the year, which, again, was a 50% increase in production year over year. That's something that they're projecting for this decade. For the rest of this decade, 50% production year over year. And then they come in and say that they're going to do 1.8 million vehicles. The street was expecting 1.84. They're lowering the price of their cars. And I understand what their reasoning is, and it makes sense. But could it be for something else? Is demand slowing down more than they are leading on to be? Now, it's just a question. I'm not saying that they are. But it's a question worth asking, I think. Oh, no problem, Donna. Good to see you, by the way. LVS crushed it. Yes, they did, Snookeroo. LVS crushed earnings. Guidance looks great. They are on fire. They're up now 4.25%. And that's after Las Vegas Sands, by the way, was up year to date 20%. Over the last 52 weeks, Las Vegas Sands is up 55%. And now, with these earnings, they're up 60% over the last 52 weeks. Good shit. Good shit from LVS. From a macro perspective, like I said, I think this is something that really, to me, I think it just speaks to where the consumer's at. The consumer's still spending money. You know, I don't think that there's really too much to be worried about here. They're spending money on travel, spending money on services. They're spending money at the casino. They're just not buying stuff at Target and Walmart anymore, or Amazon. Not like they were. I mean, that's why I brought up Airbnb yesterday. They haven't been receiving a whole lot of love lately. Remember that short report that they had? But this ties into what I was talking about yesterday, and with this Las Vegas Sands earnings report kind of supports this. Man, look at that beautiful bounce off of the zone. You see it twice here. These are Don zones, by the way. Custom-made zones that you can get over at patreon.com/ownthechaos. The link is in the description. These are deadly accurate. Look at this daily chart here. And one over at the top of that zone got rejected at resistance. Bounce off of that support down here at 108. This is incredible. So that being said, you know, I think Airbnb can come out and have a really great quarter. Their earnings last time around were incredible. The hotels were incredible. Hilton, Marriott, all those were good. So I really like the travel stock still. And even the airlines, as they've been reporting this past week, have been doing pretty well. Uncultured Currency says, not a fan of Airbnb, to be honest. Too many cities banning it. Too many cities banning it. How many is too many? And are they really banning it? What's the source? Give me the sources. Because if you want to ban Airbnb, you might as well, kiss your town goodbye. I mean, what are you doing? If you ban Airbnb, you should be fired as mayor. Thiago Santos says Peru, Chile, Brazil banned Airbnb. Okay. If that is, love you too, Snookeroo. Appreciate you. If that is true, which I don't have any reason to believe that it's not, I guess they just don't like tourism. I guess they don't like revenue coming into their country or their city. Because Airbnb has done amazing things in that regard. Way better than the hotels have, for sure. Melanie Hutchins says, not banning at all, just some regulations which aren't bad because people are getting scammed. That makes a lot more sense, Melanie. Thank you for adding your 2 cents. But yeah, if you're gonna ban Airbnb, like, you're basically saying you don't want your country or your city to grow. Uncultured Currency says Orlando not allowed in Orange County. Las Vegas metro area, New York City, I believe, is about to. It's because they are taking away from hotels and real estate. Well, yeah, no shit, because the hotels and real estate are terrible. These Airbnbs are great, and it helps small business. Doesn't that make sense? I love Airbnb. And listen, there's a time to stay in a hotel too. I'm not saying that I hate the hotels, but there's a lot for both of them. There's a lot to like for both of them. There's use cases for both. I'm not staying at a hotel for a week, but I feel a lot more comfortable staying at a home that feels like a home. You are biased towards Airbnb, says Holy Morty. I just said that I like hotels. I'll stay at a hotel for a night or two. It's actually cheaper to stay at a hotel for a night or two than Airbnb. On Culture Currency, how much you want to bet that has to do with Disney? I think you're talking about Orange County, Florida, Jeff Chow. Nobody cancels a trip if there are no Airbnbs possible. Yeah. They simply use hotels. I don't know what you're smoking, bro. Nobody cancels a trip if there are no Airbnb possible. Find me a place where there's no Airbnb possible right now. You call me a clown all you want, but they're growing like crazy. You want to know the numbers? I'll throw you the numbers. Why are people so against Airbnb? I really don't get this. There was that short report. Every time I go on Twitter, everybody hates it on social media. But the growth is there, guys. I mean, I don't know what you're smoking. I really don't. Growth, revenue growth. You ready for this? 40% year over year. 40%. They're profitable. Gross profit margins are at 82%. You know what Hilton's is at? 73. 73. 10% lower almost. So they're making more. The profitability is higher. This is all according to Seeking Alpha, by the way. Never argue with the host. I mean, no, I'm about the back and forth. I'm not going to call him a clown because I got, I'm better than he is. They don't want American companies in South America, which is very sad, says Thiago. And that's exactly my point. You don't want to see your country grow because you don't want an American company in there, and that's fine. Dan isn't giving me any reasons why it sucks. You're not giving me a legitimate reason as to why it sucks. PE is still at 39. That's because they're growing like crazy. This is another dumbass argument. Forward PE is at 39, and it is expensive, but they are growing at a ridiculous clip, which means that you're going to pay a premium for that. Is it expensive? You bet. You're damn right it is. But they're going to continue to grow, and they have been, and they've shown that time and time again. Everybody wants to doubt Airbnb, and that's fine. But the numbers show out every quarter. Seeking Alpha is bonds. Seeking Alpha, you might not like Seeking Alpha, but they have the numbers aren't inaccurate. Let's see. One of my friends make $14,000 a month from Airbnb. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's bananas. I guess Dan's in favor of corporate greed still, not helping out the little man. I'm just messing with you, bro. Melanie Hutchinson says those cities are limiting how many Airbnb rentals a person can have or operate. That's how it is in Atlanta. I haven't seen any bans in the USA. Could be wrong. That kind of sort of makes sense to me, but we're limiting capitalism. Yeah. I mean, I guess if you want to limit Zillows and all that stuff buying it, I'm fine with that. But like, you're going to limit individual people who have small businesses from doing that. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I'm a capitalist through and through, and I support it very much. That's what this country stands on. It's the greatest country in the world, and you can't tell me otherwise. So don't even try arguing with me about it. So, and limiting that just kind of messes with that. Should there be regulation? I think so, for sure. Should we stunt the growth? Should we set a ceiling for people on the amount of houses they want to buy for an Airbnb? I don't know. I don't think so. Last year was their first year profitability, so I won't count on that to be in the future. Do you have... I'm done. Your credibility is shot, bro. You have no idea how growth stocks work or growth companies work or tech companies for that matter. Yeah, do you know how long it took Amazon to get profitable? It's a dumbass take. Like the dumbest take. Credibility is gone. Conversation's over with that. Shock City Rockers is not sure about Thiago. Stayed in Airbnbs in Vietnam. Yada, yada, yada. Way better than a hotel. Yeah, and there's, like I said, there's use cases for both. I think that there's a world in which they both can live. I'm not saying Airbnb is replacing the hotel. Never said that. Ever. This show's gone off the rails, by the way. Hit that thumbs up. Flip my table. This is a huge desk. There ain't no way I'm flipping this. Do I know how many companies go bankrupt? Just, you're going to have to stop, Dan, or I'm going to have to just put you in timeout. That's just going to have to be it. Because the arguments are still stupid-ass arguments. These takes are ridiculous. What does Amazon have to do anything? You literally said the Airbnb was profitable this year. You don't expect that to be the case moving forward, implying that because they are profitable for 1 year doesn't mean that it means that they won't be profitable this year. On what grounds? Give me a reason. Like, give me a good, valid argument. Like, you're going to come to me and you're going to, like, call me a clown. You're going to, like, bullshit me, fine. But give me some solid evidence to your argument. Give me something that makes it reasonable. And I'm a pretty reasonable person. But you're just going to come here and say shit that just you pull out of thin air. Like, that makes no sense. So my reference was that Amazon was not profitable for like 10 years. Yet that stock went bananas for obvious reasons, and it should have. I'm not mad. I'm just annoyed. You're just annoying me. So there you have it. Congrats. Brett hasn't even loaded the second barrel. Brett, Lamar Jackson's overvalued. You want to trigger me? That's not going to trigger me. Lamar Jackson has 100% overvalued himself, and I said that on this channel when we talked about that. Bearish on Lamar? I don't know if I'm bearish on Lamar. The guy is still ridiculous. He's just not worth what he thinks he's worth. He's not worth $250 million guaranteed at signing. Somebody needs to tell him that he needs to sit all the way down. Tesla still kind of non-reactionary after the initial move down. So 3.82% is where it's sitting at right now after hours. And that is off of basically an earnings where they just came in line on expectations. The only thing that has people maybe perhaps a little bit spooked and why the stock is selling down, now down 4%, is because of those production numbers that actually missed expectations. And so that is going to do it for today's show. Guys, you are the absolute best. If you want to continue to support the channel, I certainly would appreciate it if you could go down into the links below. Check out my Patreon. Just help support the channel, keep things going, keep the content flowing. So go check that out. It starts at $5. I mean, it's really nothing. You're not gonna miss that. You're not gonna risk a ton of money with us. Us meaning Don from the Don Fran Show. These are his charts that you can also get access to. You get access to exclusive content from me, trade alerts that we're making, as well as our Discord. I mean, it's tons of value there. And so we wanted to make sure that we were, over delivering on that value. And I strongly feel like we are. So go check us out. Help support us in that way. Certainly would appreciate it. Checking out tomorrow's docket for earnings. Earnings season is just getting started, people. So yesterday we had Netflix. Today we had Tesla, IBM, and Las Vegas Sands. Tomorrow morning we'll have Taiwan Semi, and this is one that I actually put on Stock Watch Sunday for our Patreon peeps. You guys want to check that out, get my thoughts on the Taiwan Semi semiconductor space, go check that out. But tomorrow afternoon we'll have PPG, CSX, Seagate, First National Bank. The regional banks have been all over the place, which has been pretty fun to see. So maybe we'll react to one of the banks tomorrow too. So guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I certainly appreciate it. You're the best. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, join tomorrow at 3:45 p.m. Eastern time, and have yourself a wonderful night. See you tomorrow. Love you all.